strategy plugin. So we have installed the plugin, right? That's why we got this option. So that's why now if you log out, if you log in as user, but here now user 1, he doesn't have any permissions. Okay, now we need to enable all permissions one by one. Okay, so for that, login as admin again, sign in. So see here what we are going to do now. So first we are going to create a role. We are going to create a role. We are going to create a role. For this role, to this role we are going to attach permissions. We are going to attach permissions, all permissions. These are permissions. Okay, this role we are going to attach to user. Okay, so we are not going to attach permissions directly to the user. Instead, we'll create a role, we'll attach permissions to role, then we'll attach that role to user. For example, for another user also you would like to give the same permissions. Then what you do, you attach this role to this user as well. If you don't want to give any permissions, you just detach this role. Understand? So this is what we are going to do now. Okay. So this is what we are going to do now. So create role, attach permissions, then attach user. Okay. So let's do it now. So first we are going to create a role. So go to manage engines. If you scroll down here, somewhere you can find, see here, manage and assign roles. And you can read this and handle permissions by creating roles and assign them to users or groups. Okay. So just click here. Now you can select manage roles. Just click on that. See here from the first tab here, we are going to create roles. Then from here, we are going to assign that roles to users. Okay. So manage roles. Now, see here in global roles, you just give the name. Give the name of role. Employee. Okay. Add. So I have created a role. Now I am going to give permissions. So what I'll do, I'll give overall read permissions and I will give overall view permissions. Okay. Whomever I attach this role, he can see all, he can read all, he can view all. So this employee role, that's why I'm going to attach this role to everyone, each and every employee in the company. Now coming to project specific roles. These are global roles. Now coming to project specific roles. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to give the role name as developer. And coming to pattern matching, right, they are giving pattern. So I'll give dev.star. I will explain that one, guys. What is this? Dev.star. Okay. And I'll attach one more rule. Tester. Test.star. Add. So I have attached two roles, a project role. Now I'm going to give full permissions. That means for developers, I'm going to attach developer role. For testers, I'm going to attach tester role. So I'll explain this. Let me finish this. See here, developer. I'm going to attach this role to developers. and the pattern matching. That means the job name starts with dev. For example, dev project. Job name starting with the dev, right? So for this kind of jobs, developers they have full access. I'm going to add this role to testers. Job name starts with test. For example, test project or anything starting from test. The testers will have full access. Like that. Only these jobs only. Okay, so let me finish this one, then I'll explain once again. That's it, we have attached this role. Now apply and save. We have created role. Now we need to attach this role to user side. So go to assign roles. Now see here you can say employee role. Okay, so let me add user 1 and user 2 here. Now for these few users, because already these users are there in my machine guys, already yesterday we have created. For these two users, I'm going to attach employee role. So I'll attach employee role to each and every person so that they can able to see and view, overall read and view permissions. Coming to item roles is project specific roles. Here also I'll add user 1, user 2. For example, user 1 is a tester. I'll add test. I'll use tester role. User 2 is a developer. I'll use developer. Like that. Now click on save. Okay. Now see guys. Now go back to Jenkins. Now let me create a new job. New item. Okay. Test something. Test after test you can use any name. Okay. Okay. Test project. Let's see. Test project. Freeze time. Click on OK. Now scroll down. Give any simple command. Save. This is one job. See here, test project. Now I would like to create one more job. Okay, dev project. Freestyle. Now go to build. Hi. Save. Okay, two jobs are there, right? Test and dev. Just I have created some two jobs. Now let me log out. So login as user 1. So for user 1 we have attached overall read and view permissions, overall read and view role. That's a global role, and project specific role we have given tester role, right? Okay. So login. So see here, he can able to see only test, the job name starting with test. Okay, job name starting with test only he can do. Okay, so he can do anything with respect to job name starting with test. For example, if you log in as user 2, for example, login as user 2. He can only see jobs starting with the div. Like that, we can use, so we can restrict permissions. Understand? We can give permission, we can restrict permission, everything we can do. So I will explain what actually I did. See here, I have created two roles. This is one role, this is employee role. It's a global level. And apart from that, I have created two roles. It's one is developer role, another one is tester role at a project level. Okay, tools. For developer, I have given the pattern matching called dev dot star. I have given overall full permissions. With respect to these jobs, it has full permissions. Here also, test dot star, full permissions. Here I have given overall read and view permissions. Now I have created two users. So since it's an employee role, so I have attached these two to these two users. And since user one is a tester, user two is a developer, what I have done, I have attached user one to tester role. I have given to I have attached tester role to user one, and for user two I have attached developer role. Like these two can see everything, can read, and they can. This user one can have access to the job name starting with test, and the developer same. They can have access to the jobs, the name starting with the div, like that. Like that, we can use some privileges. We can restrict some privileges. Understood, guys? This one. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So please go through that recorded video once again. So you'll get clarity on this one. Okay. Simple. Okay. So this is all about users and okay. So users and users are giving permission to these users. Now coming to slaves. Next topic is slaves. So I told you, right, this is main Jenkins. We can attach so many slaves. So here slaves in the sense, it is not about external machine. Okay, generally here slaves means, so we have Jenkins workspace, right, main workspace. Slaves in the sense, internally inside Jenkins here, we'll create some other folders. Maybe we are changing the workspace. So that instead of executing job here, the job will be executed here, here. That's the meaning of slaves. So that we have proper backup. We can we have proper data, we can segregate the data, okay, and all these things. These we generally call slaves. And we can restrict X also. Suppose, for example, job A is here. We can restrict. The job has to be executed only in this slave. The job has to be executed only in this slave. Like that, we can do it. Okay. So let me show that one. Then you will understand. Now, see here. Just give me one second. Let me take some water. Can you guys hear me now? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
So log out,
Yes, sir.
log in as admin. Now coming to slaves. So go to manage Jenkins. Here, if you scroll down, somewhere you will find manage nodes. Here you can select manage nodes, add, remove, control and monitor the various nodes that Jenkins runs jobs. So just click on that one, manage nodes. Now see, already master is here. Now click here new node and give any name. For example, I'll use slave 1. Click here permanent agent. Okay. Oh, sorry, spelling mistake, right? Let me change this. Slave 1. Okay. Now see here, remote root directory. So I told you, right, one special directory we are going to create. Okay. So whenever the job executes, whenever this slave job executes the job, that will be stored inside that particular directory. So I'll explain this one. So just give any folder. So give the path. Okay, see here I have given a path and I have given a folder name. That means inside CDAV, one folder will be created called Jenkins. Okay, so whenever I execute any job, that will be executed, that workspace will be inside this folder. Okay, I'll show that one. I have given this path. Now click here launch method. Here you can find launch agent via execution of command on the master. Okay, so select here. Now if you scroll down, just click here. You can find one thing right here. A copy of agent.jar can be downloaded from here. So just click here. You have to download that agent.jar. Download. That means this agent is required to establish connection between this slave and master. Okay, this agent is required to establish connection between slave and master. So what do you do? Just keep that one in your CDAV. So I have pasted here. Fine. Now launch command. Here we need to give one command called java space -jar, java space -jar, and the location of that particular agent. So where is that agent? The location is in my CDAV, right? Okay. So see, it's in my CDAV only, right? So give that path. So what is that path? C:/. What is the name? Agent, right? Agent.jar. That's the name of that one, right? C:/. agent.jar. Verify here. It's an agent. It's a jar file. C:/. So I have given the path java space -jar C:// the location of that one. If it is in somewhere in some other folder, you have to give that path. Okay. Now that's it. Click on save. Okay. Now if you observe that cross symbol is a red color symbol, that will be disabled after a few seconds. Refresh status. Yes, see here. Now we have attached slave successfully. See here, one slave got attached here. Build executor status. For example, now go to Jenkins master. Now here you can see under build executor status, it is showing master here 2 and slave one. By default, suppose if you run any jobs, some jobs will be taken by master, some will be taken by slave. We cannot say, which job will be executed by slave, which job will be executed by the job executed by master. For example, let me run some jobs. So, okay, dev project is it. Let me run this one, or else let me take time tracker project, time tracker. So click here and click on build now. Let's see who is going to take this job. Yeah, see here, slave has taken this job. So let me run one more job, time test VA. Now let's see who is going to take this job. Now randomly some jobs will be picked up by master and some jobs will be picked up by slave.
So, Sai, there is no specific criteria which one they will created by whom?
Yeah, we can mention that one as well. See, right now only one build, at a time only one is running, right? So that we can change in these settings. So I will show that one as well. See a time tracker demo, and in build queue we have one job. In this build queue, we have one job is in queue. So after completion of this one, the job will be picked up by either master or slave. So let it finish, then I'll show that one.
Sai, here nodes is nothing but a different workspace, right?
Yes, different workspace. Now see here, that folder would be created here by default. See here Jenkins, the folder got created. Now see here workspace got created, and see here the job whatever you have executed. That workspace is here. I mean that job related data would be placed here, like that. Just to have separate just to have separate workspace. That's it. Why is doing this much of?
Multiple jobs can run same time, no? Right?
Yes, we can run. That I'll show you. So further we need to change this option. So manage Jenkins. So somewhere you will get that option, global. One second, I'll show that option. Yes. Simultaneously, you can run multiple jobs.
Sai, you created the slave on the same host machine, right?
Yes.
Usually we should be creating a remote machine.
Yeah, we can do that in remote machine as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. That's not an issue. So number of executors. See here you can see number of executors it is showing 2, right? So we can increase this is a number. For example, if I make it 4, so already it is showing 2. Let me click here, save. Simultaneously, we can build 4 jobs. So it is showing 4. So let me build some jobs randomly. Test job A. Test job B. So here it got picked up by master. Yeah, see why it is not showing the test job A, test job B. See, these are small jobs, right? We have given simple ls command, right? Echo, hello, like that, right? So that's why the job got succeeded within fraction of seconds. It is showing only my time tracker, right? Why? Because it is having huge Java code, right? That's why it is taking a lot of time. That's why you are able to see this one. Okay, simultaneously you can run jobs simultaneously. Okay, further you take the time tracker job every time 2 to 3 simultaneously. You can see multiple jobs at it. Okay, like that you can see. See here we have changed the number therefore. Now you can see right all 4. 4. I mean simultaneously master can take 4. Slave can take 1. Now what we do, we can restrict particular job that to be executed in slave. How can we do that? So go to that particular slave, go to manage Jenkins. Now same, go to manage nodes. Go to here slave 1. Here go to that configure. Now here you can select labels. You give any label. For example, I'll use Sai. You give any label name, just a name. So click on save. We have given name called Sai. Now go back to Jenkins. Now for example, my time tracker demo is here. Go to configure. Now see here somewhere you will find restrict to where this project can be run. See, you can see that this option restrict to where this project can be run. Click here and give the same name label. If you give S, automatically it will show that name. That means whatever the name that you are giving in node, the same name you have to give here as well. So both must be matched. Both should be matched. Okay. Now click on save. Now onwards, whenever you build this job, this particular job, my time tracker demo, this will be executed by slave only. See here, just build this one. Only slave will pick that one, even if you build 100 times. Okay, like that. Like that, we can restrict to where the project can be run. Like that, we can attach any number of slaves. We can we can do that. So generally, I mean, we won't create any slaves in companies. Why? Because the server configuration itself will take big configuration. So attaching slaves and these are all not required. But in interviews, sometimes they might ask you, how to attach the slave and all. So we need to download the jar. So it is responsible to establish connection between master and slave. So that's it. Understood, guys? This one? You got understood this one?
So I have one question.
Yes, please.
What I understand, the slave is like, it's running in this different box, or why do we have that the same box? What is it?
So just just to have separate workspace.
Okay.
So that's the main reason. So
Okay, thanks.
So guys, we have discussed so many topics already in Jenkins. Small things. All this we discussed. How to create jobs, how to deal with plugins, how to deal with that user management we have seen, and slaves we have seen, and what else? Linking projects upstream, downstream we have seen. Views we have seen the views and all, and what else we discussed? Maven project we have seen. Maven project, freestyle project. So frequent, scheduled jobs, and pole assume we have seen. Like this, we have discussed so many topics, right? Fine. So in our project, we are going to include all these things mostly. Okay. So we discussed as small pieces, right? So we are going to integrate that one in our project. Then you will get complete picture. Starting from committing code in GitHub to finally deploying into any server. So build, test, everything we are going to see. Whatever I have explained in my demo, that I am going to show you. Okay, so that project we are going to see tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow we are going to see that project. So after completion of that project, see now what we are going to do. Now we are going to see Maven now. It's a small tool. So already we have integrated, we have used, we have seen that Maven project and all. So I have a little bit theory about Maven that I'm going to explain now. So tomorrow we are going to see project. And after completion of that project, remaining tools I'm going to cover. Like Kubernetes, Nagios, CloudWatch, and VirtualBox. We are going to cover this one. And I mean, these are not big tools. CloudWatch is a small, VirtualBox is also small. Kubernetes, it takes, around, it's also not big. Okay. So these, especially in Nagios, CloudWatch, these are very, very small tools. So now we'll finish Maven. Then tomorrow we are going to see project tomorrow. Because, after this project, if at all you have any doubts, so we'll get a time, around, some days, so that you can ask these doubts. If I show this project at the end, then you won't, even if you get doubts, I won't be available here, right? Okay, so that's why I have planned like this. So you can practice this project. After that, we'll be having 3 to 4 days. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, like that, we can do it. So let me, take this Maven now.
Are we covering pipeline in Jenkins?
Yes. That we are going to see in a project. That pipeline we are going to cover in, I'm going to show in project. Yeah. Now coming to Maven. So already you know how to build Maven jobs by using Jenkins. So a little bit theory is there regarding Maven. That I'll cover. See here, Maven. Maven is a build tool. Some companies are using Maven. Some companies are using Ant. Okay. So what is build? Build means compile, assembly, and create deliverable. Compile, assembly, and create deliverable. So compile means converting source code into machine readable format. That's what we did in our class. We built Maven job, right? Assembly means linking all those files, grouping, and deliverable means creating deliverable. Okay, final output. This end deliverable we are going to create in our project. In our project, we are going to create one deliverable like .var. Okay, this we are going to create, and we are going to deploy that one in any web server. That we are going to see in our project. See here advantages of build tool. So automated task, obviously tool, it's automated, right? Automated task mention all in pom.xml. I'll explain guys what is this pom.xml. I'll explain later on. As of now, you forget about this one. So it's automated task. Tool means everything is automated, right? We can run multiple tasks at the time by using tool. Multiple tasks, but for human it's not possible, right? But for tool it's possible. It can execute multiple jobs without any confusion or overlap. Quality product, obviously we are using tool means we will get better quality. Okay, so That's all. Machine made things are always perfect, right? And minimize bad builds. So we can reduce the bad builds. That means, see here, ultimately who is writing the code? Developer only, right? Human only writing the code. Bad builds will be there. Bugs will be there. But thing is that here, bugs will be reported fast and they will be rectified fast. Okay, so that ultimately we are minimizing the bad builds. That's it. We are not completely eliminating those things. Just we are minimizing bad builds. So keep history. So it stores the history as well. So since we are using tool, so it saves our time. We can do it fast within less time, and obviously saving time and saving money. So documentation, documenting steps are pretty easy in Maven. Okay, that means Maven is a very easy tool. I'll explain this one, guys. These things are there. These things I'm going to cover. So for each and every point, documentation in the sense, we have proper documentation with respect to Maven. If you go to Maven website, they have provided clear steps. Okay, how to use Maven and all. It's very, very easy. Okay. So coming to these points, I'm going to explain. For each and every point, I have particular slides. For each and every point, I have different slides. I'll explain this one, including this pom.xml also I'm going to cover. Okay. So why do we need separate build team? So see here, developer, they are spending, see here. So developer, they are spending around 1 hour to write the code. So can't he spend 10 more minutes to build that code? Correct or not? He's spending 1 hour to write the code. So he can build by himself, right? I mean, that he can do it. It's not a big deal. Okay. He can spend 10 more minutes, he can do the build as well. But why do we need separate build team? Because of 2 reasons. Okay. Because of 2 reasons we need separate build team. That is, the first one is here. Build team worry about whole product. So developer is there, he is worried about his own written code. This developer, he worry about his code. But build team, once the entire code will be placed in GitHub, build team, they will do the build of this complete code. They'll build as a complete product. Okay, see here, build team worry about whole product, not small pieces. And second one is to match with customer's environment. He might write the code in their own machine, he might test in Windows, he might test in Linux or this. But build team, what they do, they'll match with the customer's environment. Whatever the configurations are being used by customer, the machine configurations, build people also use the same thing. In fact, build and test also. Okay, that's why we need separate build team. That means general assumption is if it is working fine here, that will work in customer's environment as well. Okay. So build tools, small sites, guys. It's a simple tool. Maven is a light, very simple tool. Okay. So already we have executed at Maven jobs. Okay, just we need to give that command. Maven clean package and all those we have given it that we are going to see here. So build tools, C++. To build this code, we have a tool called Makefile. To build .NET, we have a tool called Visual Studio. To build Java code, we have tools called Ant, Maven. Okay, either on Ant or Maven. That depends upon company to company. Maven is pretty advanced one, little bit advanced one compared to Ant. So architecture of Maven, here, architecture of Maven is something like this. This is a main workspace. In main workspace, first we need code, right, to build that one. We are going to build the code, right, that we are going to take from GitHub, right? And pom.xml is a file where you are going to mention all instructions. Okay, what kind of project it is, what kind of output you want .jar or var, what kind of dependencies you want, what kind of compilers you want. Okay, everything developer is going to mention in a pom.xml. You are not responsible to write this pom.xml, guys. Developer, he will write every detail he will mention in this pom.xml. Okay, every detail. Okay, see generally what happens, to build any code we need 3 things. One is source code, Second one is compilers. Third one is dependencies. Okay, compilers and dependencies. So source code anyways we are taking from GitHub. And coming to compilers and dependencies, developer is going to mention required compilers and dependencies in pom.xml. Okay, required compilers and dependencies. Now while doing the build, Maven first will look for its own local repository called M2 for these compilers and dependencies. If it finds in M2, then it will pull to local repository workspace. If it is unable to find these two compilers and dependencies in local repository, it will pull from remote repository. From remote repository, it will take compilers and dependencies. First, it will place in local repository. From there, it will pull to local workspace. Same like in Docker also we have seen, right? So if we want to build any container, if you want to create any container, what it's going to do first, it will pull that image from Docker Hub. It will place that image in local machine first. From there, it will use to create a container, right? Next time, if you want to create one more container with the same image, directly it will use this image. It need not to pull again from Docker Hub. Same here also, compilers and dependencies, it will pull from remote repository, it will place in local repository. From there, it will use. Next time, if you want those compilers and dependencies again, it won't pull from remote repository again. Okay, that's how it works. So source code, compilers and dependencies. These goals I'm going to explain later on. Okay, these compilers, details, dependencies, and that each and every detail of that configuration, that project and all, what kind of output you want, everything developer is going to put that code in that one in pom.xml. So these are main configuration file. Whatever developer write in this pom.xml, this Maven acts accordingly because it's a main configuration file. So here that's what I'm mentioning. Same thing. Main configuration file is pom.xml. Okay, pom.xml. So generally we have one project, there will be one workspace and one pom.xml. Okay, for one project we create one workspace and we keep one pom.xml like that. So in Git we see, right, for one project we create one repository like that, one workspace and one pom.xml. Requirements for the build, source code, anyways that we are going to pulling, that will be present in workspace itself. Why? Because we are pulling from Git. So what are the extra requirements to do build? Compilers and dependencies. So compiler we are taking from remote repository. From there we'll take to local repository. From there we are going to pull into workspace. Same dependencies also same thing. Remote repository to local repository to workspace. The same thing whatever I have explained. Now see here Maven build lifecycle. These are the goals here. If you verify this diagram, you can see one word called goals here. So these are the goals that we are going to see. Goals. Generate resources, compile code, unit test, package, install. These are the goals. See here, we have given, right, in Jenkins, while building Jenkins job, we have given this one. MVN, sorry. So you can write clean package. While building Maven job, we have given a goal called clean package. That means we have given this goal. So package means build. See here, generate resources means it will just gather the dependencies. Okay, it will just gather. Compile code means it will compile a code, convert that source code into machine readable language. Unit test means it will do some tests on top of that code. Package means it will do the build. It will do the build. While doing the build, we need to give that product, end product. So what kind of product you want, .var or .jar, that we are going to see in our project. And install means that will be stored in local repository or somewhere. If you give any artifact, that will be stored. It's kind of storing the product. Okay. For example, generally we sometimes some companies they create one artifactory. They'll store that product in that artifactory so that we may use this product in future again. Okay, like that we can store in artifactory. Deploy. So Maven can deploy automatically in our servers. the end product we can deploy using Maven. That also I'm going to show in our project. Finally, clean means delete all runtime class files. While doing build, some unnecessary class files will be created. That's what in Git we have seen, right? .git ignore. In this, we keep all these unnecessary class files so that while committing, it will ignore all those things. So all unnecessary class files, will be created. Now these are goals, and if you observe 1 to 6, these are default and sequence in order. These goals must be in a default and sequence order. That means, see here, I'll give an example. You have finished 9th class. That means you have finished 7th and 8th. You need not to explicitly mention that I have finished 7th, 8th. Then only I came to 9th. You said I have finished 9th means it's well understood that already finished 7th and 9th. You finish it 10th means you finish it 7th, 8th, 9th. You finish it 12th means you finish it 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Like that. Okay. So see here, 1 to 6, these are default and sequence order. You have given deploy goal means. So generate resources are over, compile code, unit test package, and all this. Comes in a sequence order. If you give unit test, generate resources, compile, after that only unit test. Like that. Okay. These are sequence and default order. Except this 7th one. See here, that's what I mentioned. 7th one. It's not a default one. It won't allow sequence. It won't follow sequence. Okay. This is a different one. This is a different goal. Okay. This is a different goal. So you have finished your AWS certification. We cannot say that you have finished your 7th, 9th, 10th. We don't know. Like that. See here, same. It's not a default goal. So that's why we have given clean and package. Both we have given. So it will do the package. That means the generate resources, compile code, unit test, and the package. Do the build. Apart from that, unnecessary class files it will delete using this clean. That's why we have integrated these two commands. Okay. In project, I'm going to show again where we are going to give this, goals and goals mean these are just like commands. Goals mean these are just like commands. Okay. So if you now I'll show this image. Now you will understand. See here. Source code we are pulling from Git. Pom.xml developer is going to mention all dependencies, compares everything. What kind of output and you want everything. Okay. So goals we are going to give the command instruction. Do this one, do that one, like that. Understood? Goals. Okay. Now we have seen this one. Now Maven directory structure. Maven is all about directory structure, guys. It's all about directory structure. That I'll show you. Whenever developer write a code and he will push the code into GitHub, he must follow one directory structure. Let me open the time tracker. Or you take any Java code, you can find that directory structure. Open the time tracker. So you can select source, you can select code, core, click on that one, core. You can see SRC and pom.xml, SRC and pom.xml. Now, it's kind of same thing. Demo is a kind of time tracker. It's a project name, time tracker project. Here you can find inside SRC and pom.xml. Pom.xml is a configuration file where developer is going to put all these configuration details. Inside SRC, again they create two folders called main and test. You open any Java repository, you'll find this kind of structure. Main and test. Inside this, they are going to dump all this code, Java code. Inside this test, developer, they are going to write some test cases with respect to their particular code. Those test cases they are going to dump here. Okay. So this is a project name. This is a SRC folder. In the same level, we have a file called pom.xml. This is a main configuration file. And inside SRC, generally they keep two more folders called main and SRC. In main, they keep the Java code. In test, they keep the test cases. Okay. You take any project, directory structure will be same. Okay, directory structure will be same. See guys, you need not worry about all these things. Developer will take care of these things, but you should have clarity what is what. You should have at least basic knowledge how it works. Okay. Now there are two types of repositories in Maven. There are two types of repositories. One is local, one is remote. Already we have seen this one. See here. You go to this image. See here. Remote repository and local repository, right? No. So two repositories. One is local repository and the one is remote repository. Local repository is called .m2. Okay, that is hidden. Dot is means hidden. Remote repository, this one. So local repository that you can find in your Windows wherever you have installed Jenkins, right? So go to cdev, there you can find .m2. So if you open hidden folders. So coming to remote repository, these are remote repositories. I told you right from where we pull compilers and dependencies. So just paste here. Now this is remote repository, from where Jenkins is going to pull compilers and dependencies. Okay, this is remote repository. Automatically automatically Maven knows about this repository automatically. Why? Because when we install Maven, automatically installed in that folder, the folder will have this URL. Okay, automatically. Same Docker also, see here. When we install Docker, automatically in the Docker, it will get the URL of Docker Hub. That's why whenever we pull any images, by default it will go to Docker Hub and it will pull that images. Now coming to pom.xml. What does this pom.xml contains? So anyways, developer is going to write this code, this maintain this pom.xml. You need not to worry. He will write in a XML format. Okay. So here you can see dependencies. So developer is going to mention all dependencies and compilers in this pom.xml. Okay, required dependencies and all. So this pom.xml contains metadata of that project, each and every minute detail of that particular project, metadata and dependencies. I told you right. So dependencies required to build that job. So it contains dependencies, the kind of project, what is that project? Either it's a Maven project, Java project or any other kind of project. Kind of output you want, .var, .jar, what you want, .jar or .var, final output. Okay, so in a simple terms, Java means Java archive. Java archive. Where is a group of jars? Just remember this one. Web means web archive. Web archive. Go ahead. Group of jars we call where in a simple terms. Okay, just remember that. And apart from that, the project description. This for your own information. So pom.xml contains all these things. So anyways, I told you that you need not to worry. This developer will take care of this one. He is responsible to write this pom.xml. But you should know what is this pom.xml. What are the things it is having. Okay. So few more slides are there. 3 more slides that we are going to see tomorrow. And one more thing, I told you that tomorrow we are going to see project. So I cannot finish the project in 1 hour, guys. I cannot finish this one in 1 hour. So I need minimum 2 hours in one go. Okay, in a one stretch I need 2 hours because I'm going to remove everything. In fact, I'm going to remove Jenkins as well, everything from my laptop. I'm going to start from the scratch, from Java onwards. Installation, everything I'm going to do from the scratch. So that you will understand better. So I'm going to take 2 hours, minimum 2 hours, guys. So I'm going to start at, I'm planning to start at 5 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. Okay, it's only 1 day, guys. Please, adjust with these timings. Okay, is it fine to everyone? Because I cannot break this one.
Yes, sir, it's fine.
It's fine. So I need complete 2 hours in one go, so that I can show you from the scratch, from the base. I'm going to remove everything from my laptop. I'm going to install from the scratch again, so that you will understand better. Tomorrow you will get clarity. how to integrate, Jenkins, Git, Maven, and all. Okay. So anyways, I'll give confirmation about this timing and all. Okay. So please do, check out for my WhatsApp message, confirmation message. Okay. So that's it, guys. So what are we discussed in Jenkins so far? All, we have discussed, we have seen all these things as a small individual pieces. These things we are going to integrate in project. Okay. Understood, guys? Whatever we discussed in Maven as well as Jenkins, we are going to integrate all these things in our project. In fact, we are going to use GitHub. Okay. So is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's it.
So
Yeah.
one question, sorry. Other than Git and Maven, what are the important plugins that we use in Jenkins?
Yeah, tomorrow you will come to know. Tomorrow we are going to use so many plugins. In fact, tomorrow I'm not going to take any default plugins. Tomorrow I will take plugin by plugin manually. Now we have installed Jenkins, right? We have taken default plugins. No, in tomorrow's class, I'm not going to take any default plugins. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's it, guys. So let's meet tomorrow. I'll give confirmation once again. Okay. Please do check out for my WhatsApp messages. So thank you. Thank you. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye. Good day.